This video is brought to you by Patreon provider Zeos.
Hallo und willkommen. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong, so for those of you that aren't German, hello and welcome. This video is courtesy of my brother, Z from Z Reviews. A couple of weeks ago, actually a couple of months ago, he requested from me a scope. He's building a 224 Valkyrie and he wants it to be as lightweight as possible, and he had a couple of criteria. One, it's got to be really lightweight. Two, it's got to have at least a 20x magnification range. It had to be German, and he didn't really care about the price. If you're wondering why I'm wearing gloves, it's because my hands look like I've put them through a wood chipper. They look absolutely disgusting. Yeah, change of season will do that to me. Contact dermatitis really sucks, and then using my hands every day for work and then washing them all the time, it's a recipe for disaster. So that's why I'm wearing my brand new mechanics slip gloves. Anyway, to make this as absolutely short as possible, Scott was also in on that conversation, and he was like, you know what? I've been doing some research, and a lot of people point out the MINOX ZP5 as being one of the top tier scopes that you can get. So we did a little digging, we did a little research, we asked a couple people, we checked out a couple of different forums, and everyone said that the MINOX was quintessentially perfect. And it should be for the price. The brand new price on this is $3,200. Which officially makes this the most expensive scope I've got my hands on. Of course, I did not buy this brand new. My brother could afford it, but if you could find something secondhand, especially something from a reputable person, then you're golden. So that's exactly what I did. I purchased this off of a national champion shooter, and he said that this is the best scope he's ever had. So I asked only one question: why are you selling it? Because if you've won competitions with this and you're saying it's the best scope you've ever had, why are you selling it? Well, apparently he was sponsored by Loophole and he had to have all of his scopes changed to Loophole as well, thus why this is getting sold. And as you're about to see, the scope itself looks absolutely mint. There's everything you're going to need to know, and the MR4 reticle is renowned as being one of the best reticles for the money. The box itself is very nicely made, and it should be. Cracking this bad boy open, we see a very simple instruction manual. I'll flip through this as quickly and as easily as I can. Gives you a lot of information, all basic though. We don't really need any of that unless you are setting your zero stop. Throw that in the back. It would help if I could read that. I cannot. Oh, wait, no, it's right there. Never mind. I'm just retarded. This product has been inspected by strict quality control. And voila. The Tenebrex covers do not usually come with it, nor does this, hold on, nor does this Vortex bubble level. But he was nice enough to throw those in, and I'll be putting those off to the side. And here it is. It's got a couple little scuff marks on it, but nothing crazy. You can see some scope ring shadows over here. Again, nothing out of the ordinary as far as regular wear and tear. So knowing that this was used in competitions, it has been extremely well kept. Original seal at the bottom, and all is right with the world. Now, unfortunately, me not being able to show my hands in this video, it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to really feel it the way I'd like to, but I've played with this around more than enough, so I already know what I'm getting myself into. Starting at the back, of course, the fast focus eyepiece. It is smooth. It feels good. Good amount of resistance on there, and I like how it's not too obtrusive in the back, so this way you have to worry about something catching it and grabbing it. And I could snap this on there, but I'm not going to for the time being. But this snaps right on there and fits like a glove. No pun intended. Very little wiggle to the eyepiece once it's basically all the way out. But there is some wiggle there. Again, this being a used scope, I have to accept certain parameters. This being a 5 to 25, our 5X comes in at 12 o'clock, and our 25 comes in at 6 o'clock, so 180 degrees worth of throw. And you can see that it has this little built-in shelf here that you can easily just grab it and twist it as you like. Magnification ring feels absolutely fantastic. The perfect amount of damping and no weird noises or sensations. Beautiful. This, of course, is an illuminated optic. So as you can see on the side, we have 11 brightness settings with offs in between, starting all the way down at 0, 1, off 2, off 3, all the way up to the maximum brightness of 11 with a stop at the very end. If you're curious about what the inside of a $3,200 optics battery compartment looks like for its illumination, well, you don't have to worry about turning the cap in relation to the dial, because as you can see, they are independent, which is an awesome feature, because I really hate it when I have to fully jam this in one position to either loosen it or tighten it. Now, one thing I can say, which I really don't particularly care for, is that this is just flat inside. I don't have a very large face screwdriver, and even if I did, I'd be worried about putting something very hard in there and scratching the anodizing. So instead, a soft brass coin like this works well enough. And there you go. It looks pretty standard, actually. As you can see, it takes a standard CR2032 battery. And I can pop that bad boy out real quick. And that's it. Basically as simple as you can get. All the way up to 11, but there is no stop at the end. You have to make sure you click it back. Don't turn it all the way clockwise and think it'll shut off, because you're going to end up killing your battery. As far as the side focus goes, there are no numbers on here, which is a pet peeve for some people. For myself, I like having them on there because it at least gives you a rough idea of what distance you might be shooting at if it's an unknown distance. With that being said, though, the focus knob on this thing feels incredibly smooth, very well damped, and it feels like there's very little to no resistance inside there. It actually makes you wonder if there's anything inside this thing moving at all. It feels fantastic. Minimum parallax on this thing, I believe, is 50 meters, but I could be wrong on that one. On to the elevation turrets, and I'm actually going to put down a microfiber towel on the front objective. It's a little interesting seeing the use of triangles here. I prefer very thin, fine hash marks because it's a little bit easier for my eye to pick it up. Because if you go to there, you have to really pay attention to that and realize that it's 1.3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 1.3. It's just personal preference. I don't really care for them that much, but what do I know? Anyway, let's give this thing a twist. As far as tactile feel goes, it is sensational. Audible clicks, as you could obviously hear, are almost second to none. This thing feels absolutely fantastic. As for the windage control, you can clearly see we have right and left, as it should be on every scope. Now it feels pretty similar, but it doesn't sound anywhere near as loud or as noticeable. But a very sharp detent into every little spot. You know once it's there, it's not going to go anywhere. The overall fit and finish on this thing so far seems pretty good, obviously with the exceptions of a little bit of dirt here and there. I tried wiping this down as best as I could, but I don't feel like using any sort of harsh chemicals on it. Clearly made in Germany on the front, so that satisfies my brother's one of his many requests. And the overall package on this thing is fairly lightweight, all things considered, but we're going to save that for the final review coming up soon. Anyway, let's get behind this thing and see what it looks like.
Given that the scope has a minimum side focus of 50 meters, I decided to start straight away at the 400-yard brick building. Here at 5X, we have a decent field of view and good-looking colors. We do see a fair amount of the scope body, but given the fact that this is a 5 to 25, I'm not really going to take too many points off for that, considering most other larger magnified scopes that we've looked at so far have about the same exact level of performance. Adjusting the side focus on this thing is actually pretty tricky. It's very smooth, but it's very, very finicky. It's very, very finite. So you have to really take your time and make sure you get it 100%. This is illuminated, but clearly not daytime bright. As far as how sharp you can get it, there you go. It is incredibly sharp when you get it just right. The image looks sensational. The colors are deep and rich. There's zero chromatic aberration to speak of, and this is only just getting a first look through it. Again, though, that side focus does take a lot of real fine tuning, so that's one thing to keep in mind. And that's going to conclude this unboxing slash first look, which I try to make short, but they're still 10 minutes long. I can't help it. I talk a lot. I want to show you everything there is to show, but expect the full review coming on this very, very soon. As always, thank you very much for watching. See you again next time. And a very huge thank you to all of my Patreon providers. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. If you'd like to help support the channel but don't want to join my Patreon, I completely understand. But you can still help support by using my affiliate links in the description below. Thanks again for watching.